Welcome back. It is 1626. In the last one, we had Abigail, Priscilla, and Abraham all age up. We had 2 weddings, and we have 1 affair going. And we are going to see what is going on with these kids and like everything and everyone. So let's get the birthdays out of the way. We have only a couple here. Um, I could have sworn. Did I accidentally already make Josiah an infant, even though he's not supposed to be? Oops. I think he was born here, actually, because maybe I'm wrong, but I've already committed, so I think it's like this. Anyway, so we only have a couple birthdays here. Constance Venian has to get, so for adult now we have some numbers, 2, 6, 11, and 15. Okay, she survives. Actually, you know what? We don't need, get rid of some of this stuff. Okay. And then Camille Waldrick is dying this year, and then Genevieve Larkin needs to roll her d20 to find out how many more years she has. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Genevieve Larkin. Except I don't think that was her name anymore, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, there really wasn't that many birthdays, but we have a lot of babies going around. So let's see how we do with that, and let's hop into the game. All right, so here we are. We are actually going to start with Bertram here. He is just going to start by doing some chores at home. He's a good boy. And then he has his 2 brothers, Solomon and Elliot. Here, he is doing the chores. They're apparently just having a meal, having a good time. I think that Solomon and Elliot kind of are, you know, not commiserating, because I don't think Solomon minds, but I think Elliot, who is a kleptomaniac, so I think he wants more than being the 3rd son. He thinks his older brother's going to get everything, and I think that he feels good talking to his second brother because at least they're like on the same level, whereas Bertram is obviously the man of the house here. So but we know that Bertram is currently in a relationship with Highway, and he actually wants to get permission from her family to marry her today. So he has come here to ask her brother-in-law and her, or I guess he's her sister's father-in-law. I probably should have given her a better relationship with this family, but anyway, so he's going to come here to ask these guys if he can marry her, and of course they are hesitant for the same reason that Wyman was hesitant to approve of the relationship too. These 2 groups don't necessarily trust each other just yet. He could be a spy, he could be trying to cause problems for them. Like, they don't know. Like, yes, they're friendly with each other, but that doesn't mean they're not still wary of each other. And so Bertram is trying to convince them that he just loves Highway and that he would give up anything and everything if it meant that he could be with her. He wants to be with her. He wants to marry her. He wants to, have children with her and the whole thing. And so they are already angry at him because he did take some liberties with her. They did woohoo and get caught woohooing. So it was not necessarily good for them to get caught doing that. So of course there would already be a bad impression of him at this time. So they are not really happy about the whole thing, and they kind of just send him away like, hey, like, we're mad at you because you did these things, and we're not going to entertain this kind of stuff with you when you haven't, shown that you're respectful of her, you know? So anyway, we are back home now, and the next thing we're going to do is take Solomon here. So as you know, Solomon is a horse lover, and he's besties with Bernard Waldrick, who is also a horse lover. That's why they're besties, because they both love horses, and they've been besties since childhood. And so something a little more is sparking here with the 2 of them. So they've been best friends since childhood, and just over time things have kind of evolved and grown in such a way. So these 2 are actually going to start a secret relationship with each other. So they are going to start being romantic with each other, start dating, but obviously it's a secret from everyone because back then they're all very religious here, and they do not do not agree that they think that the whole purpose in life is to get a man and a woman to get married and have babies. Like, they think that's the goal. And obviously gay people do not fit into that. So they're going to be in a secret relationship with each other where they are going to be flirty. And look how quick, even though they don't really actually have very good compatibility, which is just like so funny to me that they don't have very good compatibility despite having like the same traits. But yeah. Oh, and then we're having a baby. So actually, what's happening here is Demita is having twins. So she actually has twin boys and they both survive. And the first one we're going to name Humphrey the fourth because again, Humphrey does feel very strongly about his family line and about, his, what's the word? Like he feels very proud of his heritage. So he's going to say Humphrey the fourth. And then the second baby we're going to get from our baby names, and that's Nehemiah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even try to say this out loud until just now. Nehemiah. Nehemiah. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyway, so those babies were born. And yes, these two are in a relationship. They are together. They are in love. They are going to face some hardships. So that's where we're at with those two. And now we are going to head to our household so that we can see our family and, just working on the chores as per usual. Margaret is kind of spearheading all of that. She is the oldest, so she is, responsible for a lot of the stuff that goes on in the house. So she is the one who takes care of most of the chores and everything. So she is going to try and get her siblings involved in the chores. Priscilla seems to be helpful a bit. But yeah, Margaret is really doing most of the work. As we know, Muriel doesn't really do a lot of the work that she's supposed to do. And then we have Abigail, Priscilla, and Abraham, who are all now old enough to start to participate in that kind of stuff. So what I'm thinking, well, we'll get back to the siblings in a second, but for right now, what's happening with Margaret and Scylla. So Scylla is here with Margaret. They're really good friends. I think they might even be best friends, and they are really close to each other. And as they get older, and we know that Scylla has a crush on Solomon, who we now know is in a secret relationship with Bernard. So yeah. So Scylla is talking about boys and all of that. And, her father kind of indulges her because obviously he wants her to grow up and get married and, have a family and everything. And so I did forget to update this, so I'm doing it now. But yeah, so she wants to, she really likes Solomon. And, she's talking about boys with Margaret. And they do have a birthday coming up in a few years. But Margaret is like so not into it right now. She's like, okay, first off, we're very young to be thinking about that. But second off, I have too much on my plate to be thinking about boys. Like Margaret is like, I have to take care of this whole family already. Never mind, like, thinking about boys. And Scylla is just basically, looking forward to the future, looking forward to basically having anyone she wants because her father is the community leader. He is the captain. That's what I'm going to call him from now on, I think, because he's the captain of the guard. So he's the captain. And so well, Margaret isn't super interested in that kind of stuff. Scylla is because she has the luxury to be, right? Because Margaret has so much going on. And, basically Margaret is trying really hard to keep this household afloat while Eastmay does whatever she wants. And then also, also kind of keep her own sanity. So she does want to play too. And, Eastmay obviously tries to confront her and yell at her every time she does try to play and have a good time and, attempt even when there are no other kids around. So it's not easy for Margaret. She is definitely taking a big load that she has to deal with. And so we are going to have Muriel come over to her. So Muriel, I think she does want to like still be friends with Margaret, and she wants to be friends with Scylla, and she wants everyone to kind of like her and forgive her for the things that she's done, but she doesn't want to. Margaret is mad. She's mad that Muriel has been, shirking her responsibilities. And she's mad that Muriel has been letting her get all the blame for everything. And so she's like, Muriel, we can't be friendly if you're going to be like this. Like, we can't do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be friends with someone who is going to throw me under the bus. And so that is really tough for her. Muriel is not happy that Margaret is still mad at her. She just kind of expected her to forgive her. And then meanwhile, every time Margaret tries to just play, Ismay is, difficult and yells at her and all of that stuff. So that is the hard part here with poor Margaret. And then, she's trying to get her siblings to do the chores. So what I was going to say earlier is that, so Abigail is a goofball. And I think Abigail is definitely going to try to get out of doing chores. She does not want to do chores. She wants to goof around. And then we have Priscilla, who's proper. So I'm like, okay, Priscilla would definitely help with chores. Priscilla is probably the only one who would help Margaret with chores around the house. So Priscilla is going to be friends here with Margaret. They're going to be close to each other. They're going to, try, and I think they're going to make them best friends. But yeah, so Margaret is really happy that Priscilla, at least someone, is helping her here. Whereas Abraham is just doing boy stuff. He wants to be a part of the guard. He's working on his athletic stuff. He is athletic. That's the skill. I mean, not skill, the trait he got. So he is just, very focused on that and on doing those things that are more, not so much chores around the house or anything. So that is what's going on there. And we are going to now also have a baby for Christina and Peter. So the two of them are having a baby, and they are not going to name it Peter after his father, because obviously Peter had a bad relationship with his father and everything. It did not go well for them. He got kicked out of his house. So he is not having a good relationship with his father, and he is not interested in dealing with that. So there is that. And then what we have is, let's see. What we have is Odalina still having her affair with Anawan. So that is the husband here. His wife does know about the affair now, which is not something that she is happy about. But what's she going to do? She's trying to just get through it. Whereas he is having this affair with her, and they're always, woohooing and having a good time and blah, 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 out from under her husband's watch. And so the two of them are having this affair. That's what's going on. So they're just talking and chatting, and they really like each other. But they're not friends. Their romance is all the way up, but their friendly is only halfway up. So it's just one of those things where they're in it for the fun. They're in it for the thrill. But keep in mind that Anawan is also family oriented, so he's not going to not take care of her, because he does consider her sort of part of his family. And as we'll see right now, she's pregnant. She got pregnant with his baby, and his wife is furious. She doesn't know she's pregnant yet, but his wife is furious. And they are all dealing with this, and then there's a fire. Oh my gosh, I forgot that this happened until just now. There's a fire, and we can't leave. And then Highway just dies. She just dies. And I'm like, no, you can't die, because I was going to get you married next year. You cannot die. And so, but then I can't plead with Grimm, because of course death has been broken for however long. And so I'm totally sitting here oh no, what do I do? How do I fix it? And I just, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do. I'm so infuriated. And I decided that what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring her back to life. I'm going to bring her back to life, because I don't want her to, I don't want her to die right now. And she's not supposed to die. That was an accident. So what I'm going to do is, instead, we're going to deal with bringing her back to life, and then I'm going to give her some scars and stuff. So she is going to definitely have, she caught on fire. She was injured. And we're going to bring her back to life, but she was injured. She was scarred. And so it was not good. So she is trying, sorry, these dogs, they are wrestling. Anyway, so yes, I'm gonna fix her up a little bit. We're gonna give her some scars. We're gonna deal with that. So yes, she is now. Of course, she's worried. She's oh my gosh, why? She was gonna try and marry the love of her life. Next year, she wanted all of this. Her family was really against the marriage, also because they were you can do better. You should marry someone that we pick out for you. And so I think that now she's worried that no one's gonna want to marry her, because she is dealing with this disfigurement. And so she's nervous because she's trying to recover from being lit on fire and then also, deal with that. But anyway, basically what's happening here is, Odalina's just having her normal day, and she is just trying to act cool, act normal. She's going to woohoo with her husband because she did notice, I think she noticed before she woohooed with her husband, she did notice that that maybe she was starting to have some symptoms early on. And so she is very concerned that she might have gotten pregnant. She hasn't actually woohooed with her husband for a little while now, and so she is worried that it is Anawan's baby. And so because of that, she immediately is going to go woohoo with her husband. But then she has to contend with the fact, like, what if he can tell that the baby's not his? Like, what if it looks like Anawan? Or what if, what if he puts the math together? Like, what if all of that? So it's definitely not easy. And then there's another fire. Of course, there's another fire. So there's a fire in the church. In the church, there's a fire. So unfortunately, there is going to be a fire there. And Wyman, who is our leader here, is going to be spending a lot of time fixing up the church, cleaning up the church, and all that, while his wife is having an affair over here. And so basically, as you can see, what's happening here is that Odalina and Anawan are talking, and Odalina basically tells him, like, I'm pregnant. Now she knows she's pregnant. Like, I'm pregnant. I'm worried that, my husband's going to know it's not his, or if it is his, or if it's not, and she doesn't really know what to do. And so he's just basically saying to her, like, look, he's family oriented. He's like, come live with me. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of the baby. Like, I'll make sure everything's okay. And she's like, I don't want to. I was just having fun. I don't want to move in with you and do all that. I want to have my life over here. And so she is like, absolutely not. And so she's like freaking out because she's like, no. And so she needs to come up with another plan. She needs to come up with something that she can figure out where that she doesn't have to worry about the fact that her husband might, I don't know, execute her or something for having an affair. She doesn't know what the consequences of that are. And meanwhile, we saw that Ismay was eavesdropping on the conversation. She did kind of see them canoodling a little bit, and so she is in the know now. So Ismay now knows that, but nobody knows she knows. So anyway, that's all that's going on there. So it's not good for Odalina. And then, did I forget? No. Yes? I might have forgotten to do something. But we're doing birthdays right now. So Camille Waldrick passed away. Humphrey Dubois IV was born. Oh my gosh. Nehemiah Dubois was also born and became an infant. And then Obadiah Hobard also was born and became an infant. I also added in a new family from Story Girl, the Phelps family, which I think I may have forgotten to introduce. Actually, I think I was going to bring them over, and then I forgot. But we'll see them next time. But I did make a new family. And so, there's a dad, a mom, and then there's 3 daughters. So we do need to start adding in some other families and stuff. We'll say they came over from England because we're going to run out of people to marry. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this part. Lots of drama for Odalina coming up next year. So I hope you're looking forward to it, and I'll catch you in the next one.